everyone, Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I am actually almost finished this little cardigan, but this is one cardigan I will never ever be knitting again. It was the hardest one to work out. I think most of the patterns I've ever seen of this stitch, which is, it's called, actually the name for it's a Trinity stitch, that's the proper name for it. A lot of people call it blackberry stitch, but I say it's more like bramble, a bramble stitch. But it's hard to work out if you're doing a raglan or a set-in sleeve, how to do the shaping for the, if you're going straight up for the raglan or curled up like a straight up and down for, I think all of the little cardigans I've seen in it are all just drop shoulder, so they're just knitted straight up to the shoulders and the sleeve is finished straight up. You'd only have to work out the shaping for the increases on the arms. But something else I've noticed with this, it's like the same problem I have when I knit Irish moss stitch. It leans to one side. You can't notice much because I've got it on the needles, but the back, when I was knitting that, I was sort of pulling it into shape, and I'll show you what I mean with the sleeves. It's the sleeves, that's the way I finished at the top, the armholes. Now when you hold it up, you can see it looks like it's bigger on one side, but it's not. When you turn it round, it's the same on the other side. You have to pull this into shape, which I do not like. So this will be the only cardigan I will ever knit in this pattern, because I do not like drop shoulders. I don't know like those ones. I don't know about anyone else, but when I've knit them for myself, they're very uncomfortable under the arms, around the shoulders. There just seem to be a lot of bulk underneath there. They never lie right on me. Whether it's just me, my shape, I don't know. But I don't think I've got any different shape to anyone else. I'm just normal. But like I'm saying, I will not be knitting any more of these. This one's a 16-inch and that'll be it. The easiest part now is putting the neckband on, and then I'll put the bands on the front and then I'll sew it up. But I just need to sew this one up. I finished this little one too. I've got the sleeve pinned on because it's a set-in sleeve as well. I've sewn the shoulders up and I've just pinned one sleeve, and then I'll get the other one done and I'll get that one sewn up. That'll not take long, but that will be a pattern. That's a 16-inch. I will be doing some more on that one. Oops, I've got the wool for it stuck on there. I'm sitting on it. But I was at my knitting Natter yesterday, and there was a lady called Linda emailed me quite some time ago, and she lives in the United States, and she asked, she was coming up there to England to, I'm not sure whereabouts. She said she was coming at the time, but she said she could come to our, asked if she could come to our knitting Natter. And I sent her the postcode and everything for the Porches cottage. Well, that lady turned up yesterday, Linda. Only I didn't realise it was her at first. I was expecting a lady with an American accent, but she turned out to be a Geordie who must have emigrated. She said she'd emigrated there over 40 years ago. But when we were first sitting down, there was only us usual ladies at the table, and somebody said to me, I think that lady that was here last week, because she said she's one of your subscribers. She must have come back again. She's at the bar getting a drink. And I said, well, that was Angela. I said, she was going back up to Scotland straight after. I says, she hasn't come back down again. And somebody said, well, she says she's one of your subscribers. And I was sitting thinking I had forgotten about Linda because it had been quite a while since I'd had the email off her. But I do remember, you know, from the email, she wasn't sure whether it was August or September she'd be able to come. But anyway, the lady come from the bar and she sat down and she started talking, and I said, well, she's got a Geordie accent. And then she told me who she was. And I couldn't believe it. I'd forgotten all about it. So that was lovely having Linda all the way from the United States to come to my knitting natter club. But she is coming back again before she goes home. It'll be the week after the August bank holiday, because we don't have a knitting natter on a bank holiday because the pub needs all the tables for the extra people that come in. So, and a lot of us probably wouldn't be able to go anyway because we'd probably have family visiting and things like that. But she said she'll come the week after. That must be near the time when she's going back home. So that was lovely having just an extra one. So there was actually 8 of us. Yes, there was 8 of us yesterday. But Linda did bring me a little present. This is, she knows from my videos I'm an Elvis Presley fan. And that is an Elvis Presley brooch. But I have a little video, show you a closer look, and what else I have to do with Elvis Presley, because I have been an Elvis Presley fan since I was 14 years old. And I'm going to show you, that's why I'll stop this video, and then I'll come back again. That's a closer look at the beautiful brooch that Linda brought me from the United States, and put it next to my Elvis cup. My Elvis pillow, my Elvis clock. He needs a new battery in. And my Elvis monthly. I have number 4, 7, 8, 9. This one, a couple of them here lost the pages, the front pages, but I think this one would have been number 10 and probably number 11, I think. And a teen beat one as well. I had all of those Elvis monthly, but my mother, in her infinite wisdom, when we moved house when I was about 17, she threw a lot of them out. I managed to save these ones. I could have killed her at the time. And the largest one I have, bought by my partner Mel, would have been 2016. And you can see it's quite a length going by the door there. That's in my bedroom, so I see him every night when I switch the light out and every morning when I wake up. So that was a look at my collection of Elvis memorabilia. I have books as well, which I had forgotten about. I didn't get those out. All about Elvis's life story and things like that. I should have got those out as well, but I'd have to really hunt them out in the bottom of the cupboard somewhere. But those books that you saw, I collected all of those out of my wages when I was 15. I think I started collecting them from my first wages when I started work. They were only a shilling, 5 pence, but a shilling, 5 pence was a lot in those days. And I don't remember how many I had, but I bought one every week or every month when they came out. And we moved house. And my mother just dumped left loads of them in the bin and that. But by the time I realised what she had done, someone else had been at the bin. Must have seen her putting my books in, but they didn't get all of them. I managed to save some of them. It was the same with I'm also a Superman fan. I'll watch any film with Superman. I watched all the series right from very young, when I used to go to the Saturday matinees with the very first Superman movies, where they used to have them, you know, trailers every week, and I had a lot of Superboy comics, were the very first ones out. And when we moved, my mother gave them away to a kid lived down the street. And she said to me at the time, you're 17, what do you want Superboy comics for? And I said, because I like reading them when I've got nothing else to look at. And I even went down to that kid, I think he was about 13 or 14, and I do remember his name was Raymond Patterson. And he wouldn't give me them books back. So that was something else my mother wasn't liked for very much. She'd always throw things away, and she thought you didn't ask if we were finished with them, but that was it anyway. So we had a lovely afternoon at my knitting Natter. A lot to talk about, and so I'm looking forward to when Linda comes back again in September. So that's when it'll be, probably the first weekend or first Monday in September. So that's just a little bit of what I've been up to. And I am also using my tablet, but without it. I usually have it propped up in front of my laptop, in front of the screen. And I usually put my phone in the front of it to stop it from toppling over, because I could never find a stand that stood your tablet straight up and down like that. All of them were leaning back. Every single one I checked, and I found one on Temu. And that's what I'm using today, but I will show you that in a video. Probably it's just a small video because I didn't get very much from Temu. So I have that to put on my shopping channel. So I'll show you the stand and how it actually works. I can actually put it on my tripod as well if I want to take it out in the garden to do any videos or anything like that. So thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll tell you whatever I do, whatever I get, whatever I can any other time. So bye for now.